Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy, How to Find Your Soulmate. And I'll put a link to the book below. This video is an MBTI analysis of Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck's divorce. I think most people have heard that they have filed for divorce in 2015 and their divorce was finalized in 2018. They were together for 10 years from 2005 until 2015. They have 3 children together and they're relatively young. Their eldest is only in the early teens, and so they actually met in year 2000 on the set of Pearl Harbor, but they both were in other relationships, so they both had to sort of end those other relationships before getting together at the end of 2004, and then they got married a year later. So if we look at, let's say, Ben Affleck versus Jennifer Garner in terms of their personality type, I did type Ben Affleck as an ESTP because as a sensor perceiver, he's very much interested in entertainment and also in the business aspect of this industry. So he is someone who's an actor. He is also a director, a screenwriter. I mean, that's how he actually became rather famous with Matt Damon when they wrote the screenplay for Good Will Hunting. The other point as well is that he's someone who's interested in the business aspect, so he produces movies as well and helps others, produce their own projects. And I type him as a masculine energy because he's someone who comes across as a more logical, concise in terms of when he talks. He's all about more logic. He's more left brain dominant, and he's someone who seems to come alive when he's around the people. So he gets energized by being, in crowds. By contrast, I did type Jennifer Garner as an ESFP because, again, she's a well-known actress and A-lister, just like her former husband. She's someone who is, when it comes to being a feminine energy, actually Ben Affleck has mentioned that she's very compassionate and kind. So this is something you'll see with someone who is more right brain dominant, and also in the way she dresses. Like, there's something quite feminine about Jennifer Garner and very sort of very motherly about her. The other point as well is that she is most likely an extrovert, so she's someone who seems to be energized, again, to be around the people. She doesn't seem, someone who needs to retreat to actually get, energized by being alone or being with just a few people. So when we look at the dynamic between an ESTP and an ESFP, is that, first of all, both being sensor perceivers and the type of career that they have, it is a challenge because they will, have projects that will take them all over the world. Especially, let's say, someone like Ben Affleck, who does a number of things from, being an actor, director, screenplay writer. I mean, you have to, probably, wear different hats. So that's very demanding in terms of a job. So that can put a strain on their relationship. The fact that there is the prying eye of the media. I mean, it's very difficult, let's say, if you are that well known, to keep anything private. So that's another pressure on their relationship. The other aspect is that Ben Affleck has admitted that he has a problem with alcoholism. So, and I think that what happened is that Jennifer Garner was his support system. So whenever he was, let's say, relapsing, she was there to actually hold him up. And I think that the reason that Ben Affleck has ended his engagement to Jennifer Lopez in the early 2000s is that because of the media sort of scrutiny, but also I think that Jennifer Garner comes across as more a homebody, someone who's more stable, the motherly type of figure. So I think that he wanted that sort of stability for his children because obviously they have 3 children together. So I think that he views her as more of a stabilizing force in his life. The other point as well is that because she's compassionate, she's more likely to give him sort of leeway to obviously have relapses when it comes to his alcoholism. So I think that he found someone to sort of balance him out, but obviously it was not enough to keep the relationship together. The other point as well is that Jennifer Garner has admitted that she's very much in love with Ben Affleck. So if you actually look at Ben Affleck compared to like the way he interacts with even Jennifer Lopez and Jennifer Garner, is that these two women are more into him than he is into them. And part of the reason is that masculine energy doesn't seem as much in touch with their feelings, so they're not as emotional or in terms of their relationship. But the fact that he is dealing with an addiction makes it even more difficult, because people who have addictions, they have a sense of often shame. They don't feel good enough, so it's difficult for them to really show up, be wholeheartedly involved in a relationship, because they might not feel that they are worthy of it at some level. Because Ben Affleck has admitted that his divorce from Jennifer Garner is one of the biggest regrets of his life. So that may play. I think that people understand is that to really be happy with a healthy partner, you have to be healthy yourself. So you have to feel that you deserve this type of partner. The other point is that with most relationships, that if, let's say in the case of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, their relationship lasted 10 years. But really, the problems usually started midway. So unless there's a probably betrayal where the person, is caught, off guard, and then they have to end the relationship, usually it's a slow, degradation of the relationship. So probably they had issues 5 years into their relationship, but because they had invested, time, energy, they already had, children together, so they probably, sort of continued with the relationship, trying to salvage it. And obviously, it did not work out. So I would say that because of that, you can tell that there was probably a lot of struggle along the way. By the time that they actually announced their divorce, they were already divorcing for a while. Masculine energy is not as insightful when it comes to a relationship. The feminine energy is more so. Probably Jennifer Garner was the one who was more willing to make compromise and understand more the dynamic of this relationship than Ben Affleck, being not only a masculine energy, an extrovert, and a sense of perceiver. Because sense of perceivers, when you look at how they evolve into the relationship, they're really good at the beginning, where everything is great, everything is nice. But most relationship has to do with logistics, the day-to-day grind, and most sense of perceivers usually don't fare well long-term in their relationships. And I think that's what people see when they look at celebrities, because most celebrities are sensor perceivers. So it's not surprising that they usually don't fare well long-term in terms of their marriage. The point is that Jennifer Garner has mentioned that Ben Affleck is very charming and fun, and that she really enjoys his company when he's feeling well. And I think that's what people understand. When they say someone is in a relationship with someone who has an addiction, the person is like that 24/7. And that's why the relationship usually lasts longer than it should, because it's the person still is able to be there once in a while and has things to offer. But overall, it's not enough to keep the relationship together. So I would say that the factors that made their relationship not work long term has to do with the fact that the media attention, the fact they're both sensitive perceivers, the type of relationship style that they have, because they are the playmate type of romantic partner. The fact that obviously Ben Affleck is in with an alcoholism. The other point I think that the way that he quickly started the relationship with Jennifer Garner right after ending his relationship with Jennifer Lopez, I think that shows maybe a lack of reflection or being not introspective enough before starting a new relationship. And I think that the other aspect of it is that a lot of people follow a script. They believe that by their late 20s, early 30s, they should get married, have children, but doesn't mean that they are ready for it. And I think that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner will always have a sense of respect, because I think that Ben Affleck views Jennifer Garner as a responsible, trustworthy, stable mother and wife. And although obviously he's no longer married to her, and also that she did the best she could to make this marriage work. Jennifer Garner has mentioned in the past that Ben Affleck is the love of her life. So I think that she will always be kind of in love with him, and obviously he is the father of her children. And I think Jennifer Garner is that person who takes marriage seriously. So it was her second marriage, and I think she really wanted to make it work, not only for herself but also for her children. So I think that that's why the divorce was amicable, and even now I think that they have a really good relationship. So I think that these situations are not easy. what we can learn from it is that having your privacy is very important. Being an A-lister is very difficult, having like the media looking at everything you say or do, and you trying to also protect your children, which is really difficult nowadays with social media and other outlets that just, everything is on YouTube nowadays. The other point also is that the fact that they have a type of job that exposes them to temptation, being away for several months at a time in location. Although I mean Jennifer Garner did obviously visit Ben Affleck on site when he was shooting these movies to stay in contact, but still it puts pressure on a relationship. The other aspect that we can learn from this situation is that if you have a partner who's dealing with an addiction, it's very difficult. One, in a sense, has to become the very responsible partner to hold it all together, which is difficult. And making sure that there is like a balance in terms of who is in love more than the other. So I would say that Jennifer Garner seems to be more in love with Ben Affleck than the other way around. And I think that Ben Affleck he respects quite a bit Jennifer Garner, but he feels probably maybe not worthy of it because actually he has said that his divorce from Jennifer Garner is his biggest regret. So let me know if you agree or disagree with this MBTI divorce analysis by commenting below. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon.